Ladies and gentlemen, it has been 3 years since we've run this race, and here we are just 3 years later. We're back at the Alaska Super Speedway for the 2025 running of the Christmas 300. Hello, race fans. Welcome to the Alaska Super Speedway, which is literally out in the middle of the woods where there is pretty much a racetrack just sitting in the middle of the woods. And we have not been here in 3 years. The last time we were here was back in 2022, where Logan Alexander was the most recent winner of the 2022 Christmas 300, if I may say. Lily, I hope you're having yourself a good Merry Christmas. Thank you for the 5-stream streak. I do appreciate it. And I do appreciate everybody here that is currently here to watch the Christmas 300. And of course, we do have some other festivities coming up later on, but we've got a lot of good action that's coming up here in just a few short minutes. I don't even know what else to say because I'm very excited. I'm very ill prepared, and you know, it's a special event, so there's not a lot to really go over here, except it's been 3 years since we've run the Christmas 300. And on top of that, the last winner that we've had here was Logan Alexander. So the drivers that are selected here for this race are drivers that have competed in past Christmas 300s. And not only that, also in the WRLA NOS Energy Cup Series later on, and as well as other drivers. So let's go ahead and reveal your starting lineup here for the 2025 Christmas 300. Of course, in the number 6, we have Nathan Faden starting on the pole. Cole Raymond lining up alongside in the number 10. Will Parrish and Joshua Johnson make up row number 4. Eric Blaze and Edson Hernandez will make up row 5. Janiah Hill and car number 7 will be starting in position number 7. And Bobby McGuire starting in 8th. So how about that for the couple starting in row number 4? Stephen Colon, who won this race back in 2020, he's starting in the 9th position. And Wyatt Walker in the 99, completing your top 10. Then we have Corey Raymond, Lyle Austin, William Brock, DJ Reed, Terry Walker, Jeremy Jones, who won the first running of this race back in 2017, Jim Gatton, George Silva, Bradley Ream, Dominic Facchetti, Josh McKenna, Bradley Bradshaw, Owen Miles, Bob Floyd, Quentin Moore, Alex Bonsignor, Ryan Durrani, Claire Phillips, and then we have Nathan Stapleton, Kyler Anderson, Val Moscow, Russell Blaze, Barry Stremme, who won this race back in 2018. The first time that we actually ran here in Alaska, ran the Christmas 300 here in Alaska, actually. And then Noah Clifton, Brandon Yodel, Josh Williamson, technically our defending winner of this race, Logan Alexander, Chris Reynolds, Pat O'Rule, CG Halt, Ray Atikian, and Zachary Fitzwater makes up the 42 car field here for this race. And man, I don't know what else to really say. But we've had it's been quite the road to get here. 3 years since we've run this event. We unfortunately didn't run this back in 23, and we didn't run it last year, but we're going to right the wrong and run it this year. 2017, it was Jeremy Jones. 2018, it was Barry Stremme. 2019, it was Cody Smart. 2020, Stephen Colon. 2021, it was Salmon Oskin. And in 2022, as mentioned, Logan Alexander. It had been 3 years since then. Who's going to win the 2025 Christmas 300? We're about to find out. The drivers are strapped into their cars. Pre-race ceremonies are just now starting to wrap up. But in order to get these 42 cars rolling, we got to get the command to fire the engines.
Race fans, get on your feet! Drivers, start your engines!
And there it is. Engines are fired. Pace car is rolling off, and so are these 42 competitors. It is -9 degrees right now in Alaska, but in the world of NR 2003, that doesn't mean a damn. But also on top of that, these cars, the drivers will be sitting in temperatures at least up to about 200 degrees. So -9 isn't going to mean a thing. Field comes off of turn number 4. Pace car is going to veer left onto pit road. And this puts the field into the hands of Nathan Faden and Corey Raymond to lead the field to the green flag to get the Christmas 300 underway from Alaska. Merry Christmas, everyone. We're racing in Alaska. Faden with the advantage heading down the back straightaway is going to come out clear of all traffic for the top position, but that's going to change quickly as they head into turn number 3. Eric Blaze in the 38 way down on the inside, almost forcing a 3-wide situation as they come off of turn number 4. Turn 4 is going to be the trouble spot, and we just almost saw it there between Lyle Austin and Kyler Anderson in the 18 and 19 cars. And already off the pace is the number 6 of Faden. Probably had to check up a little bit going through turn number 1 because these cars are going at least 250 to 60 miles an hour. It's pretty unrealistic for a game like this, or at least in real life. That is if you're driving an Indy car. But in the world of NR 2003, anything can go fast. Jim Ganton in the number 78 goes to the point and already into the wall goes the 22 of Will Parrish. And already around on the front straightaway, collecting several cars. The only other car collected, that was the 40 of Logan Alexander, who won this race in 2022. Definitely not going to go back-to-back. And Will Parrish in the 22. Unfortunately, not going to see the checkered flag. He'll be out of this one early. Caution on the speedway on lap number 3. Race back to the line. That's going to be won by, looks like, the 78 of Ganton. Just wanted to double check to confirm that it was Jim Ganton that crossed the line to take the caution flag. And indeed, he won the race back to the line. And there's the number 8. That is Bradley Ream. He got really far out ahead. I mean, he did cross the line second, but he is way out ahead of the field. So he's going to have to really hit the brakes in order to let Ganton by along with the rest of the field. But pace car, I do believe, should be on the front straightaway. Actually, just now heading through turn number 4, heading to the front stretch this time by. But Jim Ganton currently is the race leader, and looks like we were only just going to have 3 retirees. Bobby McGuire looks like has blown a motor, and his night is going to be done and over with. Not a good Christmas present there for Bobby McGuire in his first Christmas 300. Unfortunately, not going to see the checkered flag fly here tonight at Alaska Super Speedway. But Jim Ganton currently is your race leader. And guess what, ladies and gents? Actually, that might not happen. I don't believe so. But just in case, you might get yourself an early sneak peek at the NOS Energy Cup Series graphics. And indeed you did there. So nice little sneak peek, or not really much of a sneak peek anymore, but those are the graphics that we will be using in 2026. Let's go back and review what happened to Will Parrish that brought out our first yellow flag of the evening here at the Alaska Super Speedway. And we knew that this was going to be a problem, especially in past Christmas 300s here in Alaska. Look at the 22 of Will Parrish. He's going to slide way wide coming off of 4. He hits a patch of black ice and completely loses control of the car. He bounces off the 07 and around the Caterpillar Toyota goes. Logan Alexander getting collected in that one. Also Zachary Fitzwater in the 21. Kyler Anderson with nowhere to go. So at least a good 4 cars that wound up getting some damage from that one. And I'm trying to figure out exactly how Bobby Maguire got the damage that he got. Did he manage to clip somebody? Oh, he got the 43. Looks like Maguire tries to go high. And just as Logan Alexander nicked the 22, that shot Will Parrish right, just barely into the left front fender of Maguire's car, and Bobby is going to be done for the night here in Alaska Super Speedway. Very, very unfortunate here for at least the several drivers that got caught up in this little fiasco, and it is going to be game over for Will Parrish, Bobby Maguire, even Logan Alexander. Hard hits for several of these other cars. And they're going to be out of it here for the night here at the Alaska Super Speedway. Tough break for a lot of those other drivers that were involved in that one. So it looks like we're only just going to see 3 retirees now. Of course, maybe the 4th if you include, well, definitely 4th if you include Logan Alexander in that fiasco, if you will. As we're going to be going back to live action here for the 2025 Christmas 300. Your race leader is Jim Ganton. You want to say Merry Christmas to everybody just now tuning in. Tink, Merry Christmas to you. And these are special event cars, by the way. These are not running in the 2026 NOS Energy Cup Series season, but these are cars for special events only. So right now your top 10 goes as follows, as we're coming around to complete 5 of the 40 scheduled laps for the return of the Christmas 300. And for reference, ladies and gentlemen, this is the first time that we're running this race since 2022. So it has been quite some time since we've seen this race. Actually, well, it's been a long time since we've run this race, but nonetheless, Jim Ganton currently your race leader. Bradley Ream sitting in the 2nd position. Then in 3rd, that would be the number 14 of Joshua McKenna. Ryan Durrani in 4th. Then the number 17, that is Owen Miles. He completes your top 5. William Brock in the 6th position. Joshua Johnson in 7th. Terry Walker in the 8th position. Then in 9th, that would be Corey Raymond. And completing your top 10, that is the 96 of Quentin Moore. We do have, of course, again, we do have a few drivers that are going to be racing in the NOS Energy Cup Series next year. Terry Walker, of course, driving the Lowe's colors as the per usual. Janiah Hill here in this number 7 will be running the 7 next year full time. We saw Bobby Maguire not too long ago. He'll be racing full time in the NOS Energy Cup Series. And there's Eric Blaze in the number 38. Running a partial schedule in Cup, but also full-time in the Xfinity Series. And there's Russell Blaze in the 29, running in his first Christmas 300. Right now, currently, he is running in the 23rd position. So the thing is about races here at the Alaska Super Speedway is that because of the fact that these drivers can race as hard and as wide as they can and make potential 4 wide moves is obviously just, well, it's because of the width of the track, of course, but because of that type of racing, it does open up the door for some of these other drivers that are towards the back end of the field to shuffle to the front, and then drivers who started up at the front, like Cole Raymond, for instance. He started outside pole in this number 10. He winds up finding himself 27th as we're coming to the restart here at the Alaska Super Speedway. So field is working their way down the back straightaway. We'll be restarting on lap number 8 here for the 2025 Christmas 300. You know, every single other year we have at least run the old Winston Cup cars for the most part, but we've also run the Busch Grand National cars a couple times over, but now here we are running the COT cars here for this race. And dare I say, it's kind of, I mean, it's a slight change, but also in the same aspect. These are some pretty cool paint schemes, especially this version of the COT mod. I mean, this is the COT mod that I personally grew up with when I was racing in an R2003 on almost a daily basis. Pace car's off, and Jim Ganton is going to lead him back to the green flag to restart us here on lap number 8. And here we go. Ganton gets a good jump there across the line on that restart, and look at them all start to fan out. Some drivers going high and low, and some of them already just full on committing. Here goes the 14 of Joshua McKenna down to the inside of Bradley Ream to try to take over that second position as they come off of turn number 2 and head uphill down the back straightaway, or head up the back stretch, as these drivers are going uphill, but they eventually work their way downhill going through turns 3 and 4. Already 3 wide now for the second, what looks to be almost the third position as they slide off of the corner. Ganton still leading the charge. Double file now for the second spot as William Brock makes his way to the inside, followed by the 01. That's Corey Raymond. Janiah Hill in the 7, lined up on the inside, and they're going to push this number 20 of Brock to the race lead as these drivers start to fan out almost 4 wide. Look at this action over here. Blaze, second car in this 4 wide situation, and trying to at least focus on him. It's a little tough to do right now. Now once again in the middle of that 4 wide situation. Oh, look at the 07. And the 6 of Nathan Faden almost getting together there as they now start to settle down in 3 wide formation. Up front, Corey Raymond takes over the top spot. Here comes Wyatt Walker in the 99 down to the inside. Down towards the bottom of the 01. Is going to barely lead that lap there as they cross the stripe, heading back into the first corner at almost 260 miles per hour. Alex Bonsignor in the 55 now working his way to the inside. A little bit of help from Quentin Moore in the 96. Val Mosco in the 24 there as well. Starting to creep his way inside of the top 10. And that DuPont in the DuPont colors. 3 wide for the top spot once again. As Quentin Moore makes a run down on the inside. And oh no, they're running into the wall and right back in front of Blaze. How in the world did they save that? That absolutely screwed over Russell Blaze, who is completely, that car is absolutely junk. He is slowing it way down. Heavy front end damage to Blaze's machine, but how in the world they managed to keep it together, I'll never know. We stay green nonetheless, but for how much longer? That was almost disastrous there with Josh McKenna on that 14 machine. But you have to wonder, I mean, Durrani, of course, he got a lot of rear end damage from Russell Blaze pile driving him, but he's already in the pits. Blaze is trying to get to the pits, but here comes the field is coming up at a fast, alarming rate of speed, and they have to watch out for the 29 because they could I mean, of course there's the banking, but they can barely see around the trees. Blaze is able to make it to pit road. No harm, no additional harm to that number 29, but I would have to say, I'm definitely saying that's game over for Russell Blaze. He is not going to victory lane here in this race. But we are near the halfway mark in the 2025 Christmas 300, and these drivers are pretty decently spread out, which is a little unusual. It's a little bit unusual, to say the least, to see these cars spread out just a little bit more than what they usually would be. We would be used to seeing them racing in these big packs, but I would have to say, from the looks of things, they are driving a little bit more cautiously, because it has been a while since these drivers have run on this track. They know how icy it is. They know how icy this place can get. Some have never raced here, like Russell Blaze, for instance. Even Eric Blaze has never raced on this track before. So there's also a good handful of other drivers that have never driven on this racetrack before. So they're experiencing that slickness, if you will, for the first time. Moscow and Bonsinger are trading the top spot like they're trading Pokemon cards, and in the midst of all that, here comes Ray Atikian here in this number 26. He'll be racing in the Cup Series on a part-time basis, full-time at Xfinity for Walker Family Motorsports next year. And now he's already crept up inside of the top 10. And way down on the inside, that's Josh Williamson in the 00. Sticking around behind Janiyah Hill, Claire Phillips in the 44. In her first Christmas 300. Just barely, sort of, I'd definitely say inside of the top 20. Right now, scored in 18th, but definitely going to move up a few positions here. Once we cross the stripe this time by Atikian already. A lap ago, we mentioned him creeping up inside of the top 10. Well, he just creeped his way up into the race lead as that number 01 of Corey Raymond, I believe, just absolutely smacked the wall. So he might have smacked the wall, or might have just grazed it. I didn't see any damage to the right side of the U.S. Army Chevy, but we stay green nonetheless, as we are just about 2 laps away from the halfway mark of the 2025 Christmas 300. Pole sitter Nathan Faden finds himself right back where he started at the beginning of the race on the pole. Moscow going for a little slide off the corner, but Josh Williamson is going to edge out Nathan Faden across the stripe. Without a doubt, I can say that this is easily the longest green flag run that we have had thus far. But I don't want to jinx us here. I don't want to jinx us right now. Then again, I might already have. Wyatt Walker is now inside of the top 10 once again, as he's going to the inside of Atikian, coming off of turn number 4. Eric Blaze going for a little slide. Manages to gather the car back up. Claire Phillips getting to the inside of Josh Williamson, bringing Lyle Austin with her. And also the number 12, that's Edson Hernandez, who won the 2024 Southern 500 in the NRLA McDonald's Cup Series. Bringing William Brock, even Stephen Colon, who won 2 NOS Energy Cup Series races earlier this year. One at Rockingham and another at Sonoma. A couple other cars going a little bit sideways as they come off of turn number 4, and they are catching up to slower traffic. That's Ryan Durrani on the 45 with a missing rear end and all. Zachary Fitzwater as well. There's also the 07, that's Bradley Bradshaw, who is just barely holding on to the tail end of the field. Just barely holding a draft. But as these drivers fight it out for the race lead, they are fast. They are very quickly. They're approaching this 45 in a hurry. Probably going to hit them before they hit turn number 1. Bonsinger, I believe, just scraped the wall pretty hard. So he's losing a lot of speed. Meanwhile, the 11, that is Chris Reynolds. He takes the lead. He's going to get to the inside of the 45. And I don't even know how they're going to split him, how they're going to even deal with Ryan Durrani. They've all caught him at this point, and they're starting to stack the field up because Durrani is much, much slower than everybody else. Cologne goes by on the outside. The 2 machine, that would be George Silva. He gets by on the inside. Everybody else now trying to get by on the inside. Almost 5 wide there. Just trying to get by. Just trying to get by Ryan Durrani. There's Moscow and Stapleton and Walker. Even the 5 machine, I would believe that is Brandon Yodel. They're all they're all doing all they've done all that they could to try to dispose of Ryan Durrani. Now they've caught Zachary Fitzwater. They're gonna split Fitzy, or at least I thought they were gonna split Fitzy down the middle, but it looks like Williamson's gonna go by around the outside. And everybody else on the inside, well, they're going to get by whenever they have an opportunity to do it. But now the top is getting blocked off. So that will leave Joshua Johnson to go on by. Nathan Stapleton, I see the 31, Bob Floyd. He gets by. Reynolds and Corey Raymond, and even the 24, Val Moscow, is just going to barely get held up. Oh, man. Floyd got really, really close to smacking that outside wall. 4 wide, heading into... Oh, man, that was a little close there. I just barely noticed it through the trees. But William Brock almost got turned by the number 9 machine. That's Noah Clifton. Saved it. And they all saved it. They all got by the 45 and the 21. And we stay green. There's only one other car that they're catching up to. That be the 55 of Alex Bonsignor. He managed to smack the wall just a small handful of laps ago. So I'm willing to bet you that because of that, I mean, obviously you would have lost the draft. But Nathan Stapleton in the 83 and Quentin Moore in the 96, they're duking it out for the race lead as they head into turn 3. Janiah Hill in the 7. Ducking low of Lyle Austin, and now Quentin Moore. She's going to get 2 birds with 1 stone, maybe 3 birds with 1 rock. As now she's going to gun for the race lead, almost 4 wide, inside of the top 10. Claire Phillips in the midst of that one. Janiah Hill's going to be put in the middle as the 36, the number 36 of Barry Stremme goes to the point. Remember, he won this race back in 2018. Trying to win it again just 7 years later. Not if Janiah Hill's anything to say about it. She immediately ducks low to try to take that race lead back, followed by Claire Phillips in the 44. And already 4 wide in the middle of this pack. Bradley Ream, Nathan Faden. You even have Brandon Yodel in the 5 already being shoved way up on the outside. They've settled it back down to 3 wide. But they've pretty much caught Alex Bonsignor in the 55. They're at least going to catch him just before they get to the front stretch, I feel like. It's a 3-car breakaway temporarily. Hill now being challenged by Barry Stremme. Actually, it might take him a little bit longer to catch Alex Bonsignor. They might catch him on the back straightaway. But Bonsignor doesn't have as much damage as I thought he would have, so it might be a bit before they catch him. They might lap him just shy of 10 to go, maybe a little bit quicker than that. Yeah, they're definitely going to catch him once they head down the front straightaway. I have a hunch. I definitely have a hunch. As they come to 11 laps of racing to go here in the 2025 Christmas 300, Nathan Stapleton and Cole Raymond, they're fighting it out for the race lead. They might be crashing in the back. I saw a few cars get a little bit squirrely. That's not the case. That's the 42 of C.G. Hald. He managed to scrape the wall, as has the 88 of Jeremy Jones. They have caught Alex Bonsignor. Cole Raymond has taken over the top spot, bringing the pole sitter Nathan Faden with him. And they're going to get by Alex Bonsignor without a breeze whatsoever. 10 laps of racing to go here in the 2025 Christmas 300. Cole Raymond leads it at the stripe. But now Faden is going to duck low. on the number 10 to try to take over the top position once again. Remember, Faden started on the pole here for this race. We also have Bob Floyd now sneaking his way inside of the top 5. Owen Miles, Stephen Colon, Bradley Ream in the picture. George Silva in the 2 is in the frame as well as they come off of 4. Joshua Johnson, I believe, might have just smacked the wall. So he'll lose, I would believe, a decent amount of momentum, and they are 3 wide with Bob Floyd taking over the top spot. Owen Miles, Stephen Colon going to make it 3 wide as they head up the hill. Barry Stremme, I think he was thinking about making a move, but he had to check up a considerable amount because the last thing you want to do is go too deep into the corner and hit a snowbank and shoot across the racetrack and right off the racing surface. We might have pit stops at hand, as I just saw the 5 of Brandon Yodel in the pits. So pit stops could be the deciding factor in who wins the Christmas 300. Remember, the last time that this happened was back in 2019, where Cody Smart used pit strategy to go on and win the race by a huge margin. Coming, oh no, they crash on the front straightaway. Owen Miles, Janiah Hill. Oh, this is a huge one here on Alaska. Hill tumbling side over side into the woods. And multiple other cars collected in this one. Claire Phillips collected it, involved in that as well. Lots of smoke. And Bradley Ream, this time by, was the race leader. You had to wonder when the next caution was going to come out. They were doing so good for so long. It turned to so bad so quickly. Bonsignor involved. Edson Hernandez, lots of damage. We saw Janiah Hill a little bit ago. She tumbled. She took a wild tumble down the front straightaway into turn 1. There's the 16 of Pat O'Rule. Several cars coming on down to pit road to top off on fuel. Josh Williamson is in and down and away. Ray Atikian. Looks like they're all going to try to fill up on the tanks of gas. Nathan Stapleton away. And a little bit of contact between Owen Miles and Bob Floyd. Wyatt Walker down and away. Jim Ganton has also... I mean, there's a vast majority of a lot of these drivers. Oh, William Brock with some damage. I believe that might have been from the cool down lap, either that or just when he was involved in that crash, but he is done. Regardless, though, he is done for the night. But it is Bradley Ream who is our official race leader, coming to 5 laps of racing to go in the 2025 Christmas 300. Let's go back and review what in the world happened that brought out our second caution flag of the of the night here in the 2025 Christmas 300, because that, I mean, you knew eventually something was going to happen, and lo and behold, Turn 4 was going to be the major trouble spot in this whole ordeal, and it has struck again. But this time, it was not somebody that slid off the course and into the wall. This time, it was one driver hitting a patch of black ice and sliding into another car. That being Edson Hernandez getting into Owen Miles, and they slide down the track right into the path of Janiah Hill. Joshua Johnson, Pat O'Rule with nowhere to go. And then Nathan Faden gets collected. That's our pole sitter for this race, the 41. Ooh, nice job getting on the brakes and missing that one. That was DJ Reed. Noah Clifton involved, Terry Walker, Cole Raymond, Val Moscow, and then look at the 7. Chris Reynolds involved in this one too, the FedEx colors. But just look at Janiah Hill just go absolutely tumbling into turn number 1 into the woods. As you see all these other cars sort of just slide down the banking and right on top of one another, but Hill spinning around like a top as she comes to rest on all 4 wheels, or at least right on the dirt banking, and then gets hit from underneath from Paddle Rule in the number 16. And that just leaves the 7 completely jacked up from the 16 of O'Rule. But man, what a turn of events late in the going in the Christmas 300. Let's look at it again from speed, and we're gonna follow from the perspective of Janiyah Hill, because just look at this number 7. Gets completely blindsided from Miles and Hernandez, and then just the hits that she got from Noah Clifton and a few others just jacked this number 7 up into the air enough to where air got underneath the car and she just started tumbling side over side. That's just absolutely wild shots that we just witnessed here in the closing stages of this race. And this is definitely not the happiest of holidays for several of these other drivers, as they're going to be done and out of it here tonight. I'm honestly, that is honestly just unbelievable of what we've just witnessed here late in the going. We're back to live action from here at the Alaska Super Speedway. Closing in on the 5 to go mark, and there's more retirees coming in. Nathan Faden, William Brock, Terry Walker, Quentin Moore. They're all going to join Russell Blaze, Bobby McGuire, Will Parrish, Logan Alexander, and Kyler Anderson in the garage area. And they're unfortunately not going to get the Christmas presents that they have been asking for, and one of which being a win in the Christmas 300 that they will have to wait until next year in order for that one to happen. But man, oh man, it is getting intense here for the closing stages of the Christmas 300. Your top 10 as of right now looks like this. There have been some pit strategies. Some drivers came in, topped off on fuel. Others did not. One of which being Bradley Ream. He is your race leader. Lyle Austin in second. Stephen Colon third. Barry Stremian fourth. George Sasilva in fifth. DJ Reed sitting in the sixth position. Cole Raymond in seventh. Josh Williamson eighth. Val Moscow ninth, and CG Halt completes your top 10. Now coming to 4 laps to go, and chances I would believe we are going to have ourselves a Mario Kart dash to the finish. What that means, ladies and gentlemen, if we're restarting with 3 laps to go, that means we're restarting with 3 laps to go. If I say there's a Mario Kart dash to the finish, that means we're restarting with 3 to go. And that's the case. 1 lap and we will be back to green flag racing from here at the Alaska Super Speedway. Bonsignor still sitting in the pits. And I don't believe that car is going to be leaving the pits anytime soon. And I could say the same for Edson Hernandez and Janiyah Hill. Those cars, I believe they're just going to be left in the pit area for the remainder of the night. The field heads up the hill at a pace speed of 91 miles an hour behind the pace car. It's going to be pretty interesting to see if Bradley Ream, drivers like Bradley Ream, for instance, are going to be able to make it on the amount of fuel that they may have left, that even he has left, because remember, he was one of those drivers that didn't even come on in to top off on whatever fuel that he might have had left. So it's going to be interesting to see if he's going to be able to make it all the way on whatever fuel he's got left. But it is a go time here in the final stages of the Christmas 300. Who's gonna come home a winner? Pace car is off, single file, heading towards the stripe. Green is back in the air. Ream got a good restart, but so did the 18 of Lyle Austin, but he just went way around the outside, and that's going to leave the door wide open for Stephen Colon to get to the inside. Remember, he won this race in 2020, trying to do it again just 5 years later. Pulls up alongside the 18, still double file behind Bradley Ream for the moment. Look at Josh Williamson in the 00. He just drove right up to the back bumper. And oh my God, there is no way some of these drivers, they decided they couldn't make it. They have to come on in with 2 to go. That includes Bradley Ream. And with all that, that just gave the lead over, I believe, to Jim Ganton. Ganton with a huge advantage over Brandon Yodel, who now takes over from 24th. I believe that might not be right, but I could be wrong for sure. But they come off of 4. White flag is out. 1 lap to go for Jim Ganton. He has a 2-second lead over Bob Floyd, Walker, and also Josh Williamson. They're fighting it out for second. I believe it might be too little too late. And as they head through turns 3 and 4 one more time, I believe this Christmas present fell right into the lap of Jim Ganton, who comes off of turn number 4, and he will win the 2025 Christmas 300. Unbelievable. That is unbelievable. Honestly, I thought that there was a wreck waiting to happen, but that is a tough break for Bradley Ream and the other drivers who did not come down and to top off on fuel, because the moment they got started, and I'm not sure if Williamson is out of gas or what, but oh yeah, Williamson is out of gas. The motor is not running or anything, and gets bumped by Zachary Fitzwater, but it doesn't matter. The race is over, and your winner is Jim Ganton in the number 78. He will win the 2025 Christmas 300. Josh Williamson is going to come home in the second position. Wyatt Walker in third. Bob Floyd in fourth. Joshua McKenna completes your top 5. Then Eric Blaze finishes in the 6th position. Jeremy Jones in 7th. Bradley Bradshaw in 8th. Then in 9th, that would be Dominic Ficchetti, and Nathan Stapleton rounds out your top 10. From positions 11th on down to 20th, everybody pretty much finished on the lead lap, or at least those are 20 cars that finished on the lead lap. 21st on down to 27th, or 1 lap down or more. And those are the 27 cars that managed to go on to finish the race. Here's 28th on down. Baden, Brock, Terry Walker, Janiah Hill, Edson Hernandez, Noah Clifton, Pat O'Rule, Chris Reynolds, Quentin Moore, Alex Bonsignor, Russell Blaze, Bobby McGuire, Will Parrish, Logan Alexander, and Kyler Anderson. Those drivers unfortunately smelled what the Rock was cooking, and they unfortunately were not around to finished the Christmas 300. They had to watch the rest of the race from the sidelines, but who knows? They might have themselves another go next year. With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to do it here for the 2025 Christmas 300. What a way to bring back a tradition. Big congratulations to Jim Ganton on winning the 2025 Christmas 300. Thank you guys a lot for watching this. And if you're watching on Twitch, be sure to hit that follow button so you don't miss a future stream. And if you're watching this on the WRLA YouTube channel, if you like this, be sure to hit the like button. And if you have not considered subscribing yet, I recommend you do so in order to keep up with some fine content coming out in the near future. And that should be our last race of the 2025 year. And we've got a lot to look forward to in 2026. We've got the Menards Truck Series, Xfinity Series, and the NOS Energy Cup Series coming back in February, or at least for Trucks and Xfinity, the first time since 2017, we're going to see them race. And for Cup, well, they're going to have themselves another opportunity under the spotlight. But one more time, congratulations to Jim Ganton on winning the Christmas 300. Happy holidays and Merry Christmas, everyone. We'll see you all in 2026 when it comes to racing products, and have yourselves a wonderful, wonderful Christmas.